One of the biggest thieves of our inner balance is the habit of trying to control what is beyond our reach. We live in a world that constantly teaches us to take charge and make things happen. While there is nothing wrong with putting in effort and working hard, the truth is, not everything in life is meant to bend to our will. The weather will not always be sunny when we want it to be. People will not always behave the way we expect. Plans will not always unfold exactly as we dreamed. And yet, we exhaust ourselves trying to force these things into place. It's like standing on the shore and trying to command the ocean waves to stop. You can shout as loud as you want, but the tide will still rise and fall as it is meant to. When we try to control what we cannot control, we create frustration, disappointment, and a constant state of restlessness within ourselves. We cling so tightly to our desired outcome that when life takes a different turn, we feel like the ground beneath us has been pulled away. But the moment we understand that there is a higher order guiding life, there is a wisdom greater than ours shaping events, something inside us relaxes. We begin to see that letting go is not weakness, it is trust. It is trusting that the same God who painted the skies and moves the planets knows exactly how to arrange the details of our lives. Think about a river. If you try to block its natural flow, the water will only rise and create pressure, eventually breaking through in ways you can't control. But if you allow the river to flow and work with its current, you can navigate smoothly. In the same way, when we resist the natural flow of life by demanding that everything happen our way, we only increase our own suffering. But when we trust the flow, when we say, "This is beyond me and I place it in God's hands," we release the pressure and reclaim our peace. There is a deep freedom in focusing only on what is truly in your control. You cannot control the weather, but you can carry an umbrella. You cannot control someone's opinion about you, but you can control how you respond to it. You cannot control every twist in your journey, but you can choose to walk it with patience, grace, and faith. This shift in focus changes everything. It's like cleaning a foggy window. Suddenly you can see clearly where your energy should go and where it should not. In daily life, this understanding can save you from endless stress. Imagine you are stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. You can either sit there honking, swearing, and feeling your heart race, or you can take a deep breath, accept that the traffic is not in your control, and use that time to listen to something uplifting, reflect in silence, or simply breathe. The situation doesn't change, but your experience of it does. And that's the beauty of letting go. The outer world may remain the same, but your inner world becomes calm. We often hear the phrase, "Let go and let God." It's not just a comforting line, it's a practical way to live. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means doing your best in the areas you can influence, and surrendering the rest to the one who sees the whole picture. We see only a few puzzle pieces, he sees the entire design. Sometimes the delays, the detours, and even the disappointments are part of a path that will lead you to something far better than you planned. This approach also helps in relationships. Many times we want to change people, their habits, their words, their attitudes, thinking that our happiness depends on it. But people change only when they are ready, not when we force them. Trying to control someone else's journey is like trying to open a flower before it's ready to bloom. You will only damage it. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself and let your example inspire them. The most powerful influence you have is not control, but presence. When you detach from what you cannot control, you also discover a new kind of courage. You are no longer paralyzed by fear of what might happen, because you know that whatever comes, you will meet it with strength rooted in faith. It's like walking on a rope while holding the hand of someone you trust completely. You still need to take each step carefully, but you are not afraid of falling, because you know that hand will not let you go. Every day, life will present you with two circles: the circle of what you control and the circle of what you cannot. Inner balance comes from living fully inside your circle and leaving the other one in God's care. This doesn't just bring peace, it brings energy. When you stop wasting effort on things you can't change, you have more strength for the things you can. You start to live lighter, freer, and with a heart that is less burdened. So the next time you feel yourself getting frustrated over something, pause and ask, is this in my control? If the answer is yes, act with wisdom and purpose. If the answer is no, release it. Let the river flow. Trust that there is a divine carrying you exactly where you are meant to go. Because the truth is, the more you release what you cannot control, the more unshakable your inner balance becomes. Not by holding on tighter, but by learning to let go with grace. One of the greatest misunderstandings people have is thinking that emotional detachment means being cold, uncaring, or distant. They imagine it as shutting the door to their heart so that nothing can get in. But that is not true detachment. That is emotional numbness, and numbness is not strength, it is an escape. True detachment is something far more powerful and far more beautiful. It is the art of remaining deeply connected, loving, in being chosen and compassionate, while not allowing your peace to be held hostage by the emotions of the moment. Imagine a doctor in an emergency room. Every day they see pain, fear, and sometimes loss. If the doctor breaks down crying with every patient, they won't be able to help anyone. But if they have no heart at all, they won't truly connect with those they serve. So the doctor learns a balance. To care deeply but not to drown in the pain. That balance is detachment with compassion. In our daily lives, this balance is tested constantly. Someone at work might speak to you rudely. A loved one might misunderstand your intentions. A friend might forget something important to you. In those moments, emotional detachment does not mean ignoring them or building a wall. It means feeling the emotion, understanding it, but not letting it control your reaction. You can acknowledge the hurt without becoming the hurt. You can stand in the fire without letting it burn your peace away. Think of a lotus flower. It grows in muddy water, yet its petals remain untouched by the dirt around it. Detachment is like being a lotus, surrounded by life's chaos, yet not letting the chaos stain your inner calm. This doesn't make you indifferent, it makes you more present. When your emotions are not constantly being pulled in every direction, you are able to listen better, speak more clearly, and act more wisely. A common example we can all relate to is parenting. A loving parent does not rush to remove every challenge from a child's path because they know that the child needs to learn resilience. If the parent panics at every scraped knee or tear, the child may grow up fearing every little discomfort. Instead, the parent stays calm, offers support, but allows the child to navigate and grow. That is emotional detachment, being there with full love, but not becoming entangled in every passing emotion. Another example is in conversations that get heated. Without detachment, we immediately react to anger with more anger, to harshness with harshness. But with detachment, we take a mental step back. We see that perhaps the other person's anger has nothing to do with us. Maybe it's their own stress, pain, or fear speaking. Instead of feeding the fire, we can be the water that cools it. This is not weakness, it is strength that comes from self-mastery. Detachment also frees us from unnecessary suffering. Most of our stress does not come from events themselves, but from the stories we attach to them. If someone does not greet us warmly, we might tell ourselves, "They don't like me anymore." If we don't get a certain opportunity, we might think, "I am not good enough." These stories create suffering long after the event has passed. Detachment allows us to see the event for what it is, without adding layers of assumption and emotional burden. Now, does this mean we should stop feeling altogether? Absolutely not. Feelings are what make us human. Compassion is what connects us. But without detachment, compassion can turn into emotional exhaustion. With detachment, compassion becomes sustainable. You can keep giving without burning out. You can keep caring without collapsing under the weight of every problem you encounter. It is like being a sailor in the ocean. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to ride them. If you try to fight every wave, you will exhaust yourself. If you let every wave toss you around, you will lose control. Detachment is steering your boat with skill, letting the waves be what they are, while keeping your course steady. And here is the truth: the deeper your connection with God, the easier detachment becomes. When you know that there is a greater plan unfolding, you stop clinging desperately to every outcome. You love fully, you give your best, but you release the need to control everything. You trust that whatever happens is either a blessing or a lesson, and both are for your growth. So, emotional detachment without losing compassion is not closing your heart. It is protecting your heart so you can keep it open. It is knowing how to hold space for others without losing yourself in their storms. It is choosing to be a calm presence in a noisy world, a grounded soul in a restless society. In the fast pace of life, we often think that strength is about acting quickly, answering immediately, or having a ready reply for every word thrown at us. But true inner strength is not in speed. It is in stillness. It is in that sacred moment between what happens to us and how we choose to respond. That moment, that pause, is where your power lies. And yet it is the most overlooked treasure in daily life. Imagine someone says something hurtful to you in anger. Without a pause, your mind reacts instantly. Words rush to your tongue, emotions rise like a flood. You fire back, and now the fire between you both grows hotter. Later, when you've calmed down, you might think, I wish I hadn't said that, I could handle it better. That regret comes because in the heat of the moment, you gave control of your peace to the situation. But if you had paused, even for a few seconds, you could have seen the situation differently. You could have chosen your response instead of being dragged by your reaction. A pause is like a bridge over a raging river. Without it, you jump straight into the water and get swept away. With it, you cross safely to the other side. The river is your emotion, the bridge is your pause. It is not about denying the emotion. It is about giving yourself the space to see it clearly before you act. Look at nature. Even the most powerful volcano does not erupt every day. It builds, it waits, and then, only when the time is right, does it release its energy. Similarly, mastering the pause means holding your energy, allowing it to settle, and releasing it in a way that does not destroy but transforms. There is a beautiful lesson in how archers shoot arrows. They do not simply pull the string and release in one motion. They pull back, they hold, they aim, and then they release. That moment of holding is the pause. the time to find clarity and direction. Without it, the arrow would miss its target. In life, our words and actions are arrows. If we release them without pausing to aim, they may land somewhere we never intended, causing harm we never wanted. We can see the power of the pause in everyday life. Picture yourself in heavy traffic. Someone cuts you off suddenly. Your instinct might be to honk aggressively, shout, or feel your blood pressure rise. But if you pause, take a deep breath, remind yourself that maybe they are rushing for a reason you don't know. You save yourself the stress and possibly prevent an accident. That pause is not weakness, it's wisdom. Another daily example is in family disagreements. When a loved one says something in frustration, pausing allows you to hear the behind their words instead of just the words themselves. It gives you the chance to respond with empathy instead of defensiveness. Sometimes, just a moment of silence, speak can turn an argument into a meaningful conversation. Mastering the pause is not about being slow, it is about being intentional. It's about recognizing that your first reaction is often driven by emotion, not clarity. The pause gives you the chance to let the initial wave of emotion pass, so you can act from strength, not from impulse. This is not easy in a world that rewards quick answers and fast replies. We are conditioned to respond instantly to messages, calls, and situations. But strength lies in breaking that habit, in training yourself to breathe, observe, and then decide. Even a 3-second pause can change the entire outcome of a situation. And here is where the spiritual dimension makes the pause even more powerful. When you take that moment, you can use it to connect with God, silently asking, "What is the right thing to do here? How would you want me to respond?" That brief prayer in your heart can be the difference between a reaction you regret and a response you are proud of. The pause becomes not just a tool of self-control, but a channel for divine guidance. Think of it like this. You are holding a cup of tea and someone bumps into you. Whatever is inside the cup will spill out. Life will bump into you often, through challenges, irritations, and provocations. If you are full of anger, that will spill out. If you are full of peace, that will spill out. The pause gives you time to make sure that what spills out reflects who you truly are, not just what you're feeling in that second. And with practice, the pause becomes a natural part of you. You value chosen. You begin to notice that you are no longer reacting to every little thing. You start to feel a quiet confidence, knowing that nothing can easily pull you away from your center. People around you begin to notice it too. They see that you are not easily provoked, and they start to trust your words because they come from thoughtfulness, not impulse. The pause is not just for big arguments or stressful moments. It's for every part of life. In pausing before saying yes to a commitment, before sending a message, before making a decision, gives you the space to align your actions with your values. It helps you live intentionally instead of reacting automatically. In life, situations are like the weather. They change without warning. One day the sun is shining, the air is calm, and everything feels perfect. The next day the clouds gather, the wind howls, and rain pours without mercy. If your mood and actions are determined only by the weather of your life, you will find yourself constantly shifting. Happy one moment, frustrated the next, kind in the morning, harsh by the evening. True strength. Strength is when your inner climate does not depend on the outer weather. And the way to create that stability is to live by unshakable values, not by the changing conditions around you. Values are like the roots of a tree. They are hidden beneath the surface, but they hold the tree steady during every storm. Without roots, a tree can be knocked over by the lightest wind. Without values, a person can be swayed by every opinion, every temptation, and every emotional wave. You might have moments of greatness that they're doing chosen, but they will not last because they are not anchored in something deeper. Living by values means deciding who you are before life tests you. If honesty is your value, you remain honest whether it benefits you or costs you. If kindness is your value, you remain kind even when others are rude. If patience is your value, you practice it even when everything in you wants to hurry. This is the strength that makes you untouchable. Because situations will try to bend you, but your values will hold you upright. Think about a compass. A compass always points north, no matter where you or how much you turn it. It does not get confused by the scenery or by how many people are walking in a different direction. Your values should be like that compass, always pointing you toward your true north, no matter what is happening around you. Situations will try to turn you, but your compass will remind you where to go. We see this in small, everyday moments. Imagine you are in a shop and the cashier gives you more change than you are supposed to receive. The situation is tempting. No one saw it, and you could easily walk away with the extra money. But if integrity is your value, you return it without hesitation. You don't need to think twice, because you have already decided the kind of person you will be, regardless of the situation. Or imagine someone insults you publicly. The situation pushes you to respond in anger. But if dignity and self-control are your values, you choose your words carefully, not to match their level, but to rise above it. People may think you are weak because you didn't fight back with equal harshness, but in reality, you demonstrated a strength they may not yet understand. The challenge is that situations often disguise themselves as the reason for our actions. We say, I was rude because they were right to me, or I lied because it was a difficult situation. But in truth, situations are not the cause. They are the test. The real cause is whether our values are strong enough to guide us through that test. Living by values also brings peace of mind. When your decisions are guided by your values, you no longer waste energy worrying about whether you did the right thing. You may not always get the outcome you want, but you can rest knowing you acted in alignment with who you truly are. That inner peace is worth more than any temporary gain from compromising your principles. It's important to remember that values are not chosen for convenience. They are chosen for character. They will sometimes make your path harder. They may cause you to lose opportunities or relationships that are not aligned with them. But they will also ensure that the opportunities and relationships you do keep are built on trust and respect. And that is the kind of foundation that lasts. In the bigger picture, living by values makes you dependable. People will know where you stand. They won't have to wonder if you'll change your stance based on what benefits you in the moment. This consistency earns a respect that no title or wealth can buy. The world is full of people whose actions change like the wind. Being someone who stands firm is a rare and powerful thing. And here's the deeper truth. Values are not just about morality, they are about spiritual alignment. When you live by values, you are living in harmony with the higher laws of the universe. Honesty, kindness, humility, and patience are not just human ideals, they are divine qualities. Every time you choose them over convenience, you are strengthening your connection with God. That connection is what makes your inner strength truly untouchable. Life will always present you with changing situations. Sometimes it will be easy to do the right thing. Sometimes it will be incredibly hard. But if you decide in advance what your values are and commit to them fully, the changing situations will no longer dictate your character. You will walk through the storms, through the sunshine, through the uncertainty, with the same steady heart. And people will notice. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect you. In today's world, we often admire physical strength. We see athletes lifting heavy weights, running at incredible speeds, or performing feats that seem almost superhuman. We clap, we cheer, and we say, "That's strength!" And yes, it is. But it's only one kind of strength. What about the strength to control your temper when someone provokes you? The strength to stay hopeful when everything seems to be falling apart. The strength to keep going after multiple failures. That strength is not built in the gym. It's built in the mind. A strong body can carry heavy loads for a while, but a strong mind can carry the weight of life itself. And just like muscles, the mind also needs training. If you never exercise your body, it becomes weak. If you never exercise your mind, it becomes easily shaken, easily broken, and easily controlled by fear, doubt, and negativity. Training your mind is about building mental resilience, clarity, and focus. It is about learning to stay calm in storms, patient in delays, and hopeful in uncertainty. And the beautiful truth is, anyone can build this strength. You don't need a special membership, expensive equipment, or perfect conditions. Your life itself is your training ground, and every day offers you opportunities to strengthen your mind. Think about it. When you go to the gym, you lift weights that challenge your muscles. At first, it feels heavy and uncomfortable, but as you keep practicing, the same weight becomes easier. Then you increase the weight, and the cycle continues. The same principle applies to your mind. At first, small challenges may feel overwhelming. Waiting in a long queue, facing minor criticism, or handling a small setback. But if you choose to respond with patience instead of irritation, understanding instead of anger, and hope instead of despair, you are training your mind. Over time, what once broke you will barely shake you. One daily example is dealing with impatience. We live in a fast-paced world where waiting feels like a waste of time. But waiting is one of the best mental exercises. The next time you are stuck in traffic or waiting in a long line, instead of fuming, take it as a training moment. Breathe deeply. Observe your surroundings. Think of something you're grateful for, or simply enjoy the stillness. You are teaching your mind to be at peace, even when things don't move at your pace. Another example is in facing criticism. Many people crumble at a single negative comment, replaying it in their minds for days. But if you train your mind, you learn to separate useful feedback from meaningless negativity. You ask yourself, is there truth here I can use to grow? If yes, you take it as a lesson. If not, you let it go without letting it touch your self-worth. This is mental strength in action. Training your mind also means feeding it the right nutrition. Just as you choose healthy food to nourish your body, you must choose healthy thoughts and knowledge to nourish your mind. If you constantly consume negativity, gossip, fear-driven news, endless complaints, your mind will be filled with anxiety and doubt. But if you feed it wisdom, uplifting conversations, inspiring books, and moments of silence, your mind will grow strong, focused, and steady. And here's something most people overlook. The mind and the body are connected. You can have the strongest muscles in the world, but if your mind gives up, your body will follow. History is filled with examples of people who endured unimaginable physical hardships, long journeys, illnesses, even imprisonment. Not because their bodies were superhuman, but because their minds refused to break. They had trained their thoughts to focus on hope, purpose, and faith. Spiritual practice is also a form of mind training. Meditation, prayer, and self-reflection are like the mental equivalent of lifting weights. They teach your mind to focus, to let go of distractions, and to connect with the deeper truths beyond temporary situations. The more you train your mind to rest in that deeper connection with God, the less the surface level chaos can disturb you. A strong mind changes the way you see challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a trained mind asks, "What is this here to teach me?" This shift in perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of life and start seeing yourself as a student of life. And perhaps the greatest gift of training your mind is freedom. Freedom from being controlled by every passing mood, every opinion, every setback. You begin to respond to life from a place of choice, not habit. You can be in a difficult situation and still choose peace. You can be surrounded by negativity and still choose hope. You can be in the middle of uncertainty and still choose faith. At the end of the day, physical strength fades with age, but mental strength can grow stronger every year. And unlike the body, the mind's capacity for resilience, clarity, and peace is limitless. Train it daily, and it will serve you in every moment. Lifting you higher when life tries to pull you down, guiding you through confusion, and keeping you steady no matter how heavy the load becomes.